Welcome, especially if this is your first time with us. I see some familiar names and faces, and I know some of you are new around here. So welcome to the Searchcast. We're super excited to have you here. We have a very special guest today. We have Bradley, who's going to talk with us about community solar, which I'm sure many of you know this is a huge opportunity, and it means that really no deal is left behind. No deal is lost because there's always an opportunity. There's always something that we can do to get them on renewables, which is super exciting. So community fills those gaps that our standard deal types don't. So I'm super excited, and thanks so much for being here today.
Yes.
Awesome, Allie. And
Yeah.
just to get it kicked off, I have to say props to you. I know it's only your third company that you built in the last 10 years. Surge, if you don't know about it, it is a game changer, right? We're going to help people, help developers and help builders and people who have technology to adopt solar at a rate that's never been done before. So if you think about Uber, we will be the Uber of commercial solar. If you think about EXP, real estate will be that same. Netflix, I'm sure you've heard of Amazon. That's the model, right? And I want to say special thanks to Allie for her leadership, but also for the folks that are in the VIP team right now for contributing to our launch. And this year is super special for us for many reasons. So thank you, Allie. Do you want to talk a little bit about the background, like why you started Surge, or it came from your vision of success? And when you're done with that, I'm going to introduce Bradley. And again, if you're tuning in, our focus today is going to be community solar.
Awesome. Thanks, Emmett. Yeah, so a little backstory on Surge. Emmett and I met probably almost, I would say 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, most likely through LinkedIn or Facebook or one of those platforms. And we started working together at my other company, Satva. Redemption Energy became a client. They got onboarded with the platform. And, not too long after that, Emmett came to me and said, hey, could you build something like this for commercial solar, right? Because the company he's with doesn't really touch commercial. And there's a lot of people out there who would love to sell these larger scale deals. Emmett was getting, text messages and emails and WhatsApp messages and Facebook and everything saying, hey, I have a commercial opportunity. What do I do with it? And there was nowhere to put it. So he came to me and he said, look, let's build this platform. Let's build a platform to sell commercial deals at scale amongst, trusted EPCs, trusted installers in the industry, but pulling in these deals from all around the country, right? Sales pros who are actively selling residential and happen to come across these commercial deals and want to build out that side of their business. So, about 6 to 8 months later, we built it. We put a lot of time and effort into the back end of everything, and it's constantly evolving and improving based upon feedback from people like yourselves. And we're really excited about where we're heading in the years to come.
A couple punchlines, right? If I was to ask Allie why this instead of any other way, she's probably going to answer the question in this way. But you could put the cherry on top of it if you want, Allie. Why Surge, right? Why Surge is because we want to close commercial quicker, more profitable, and better than anybody else. We want to get you 100% close rate. The way I've sold commercial in 20 years, and I'm an executive semi-retired in both commercial, residential, and community solar business, is I've always brought 2 or 3 pitches to the table. So if you're selling a dairy farm, if you're selling a vineyard, if you're selling a carport with EV chargers, you're going to have 2 or 3 people come in with you, and it's always going to be 100% close rate. Not for the 3, but for you. And really, that's the punchline, right, Allie? I mean, what's your one thing you're really focusing on now?
Yeah, great question. Right now, our biggest focus at Surge is increasing the number of deals that go through on the platform. So we're bringing in members at all levels. We are growing the community and doing events like this to really get the word out there and educate people who want to become a part of it. And our number one priority in everything that we do is increasing the number of solar projects that get installed. And with that, of course, EV chargers, batteries, backup, and building out these different channels for renewable energy to become more seamless for the organizations that really power our economy and therefore have the biggest impact, even more so than, homeowners, of course.
Yeah, when I grew up, my mom would tell me to turn the lights off, and I didn't even know where the lights came from growing up, right? And ask 99% of people that you talk to today how lights work, how energy works, and they probably couldn't tell you. But it's folks like us that are powering that infrastructure. And by the way, all of us are paying taxes to support this, right? So why not get them and give them back? And why not do it in a different formula? Instead of algebra 2. Instead of algebra 2, calculus. That's what we're trying to build here. We appreciate everybody tuning in if you're new, and we appreciate all the VIPs in the gallery right now. So thank you for that. So let's pivot a little bit over to Bradley now. Bradley's been in the energy business for quite some time. I have admired and appreciated our collaboration here in the community solar space. And I'm going to let him introduce himself in a second here, but let's talk about why community. So in the previous podcast, we talked about where should we focus? Maybe if you're building a business in commercial, where should you focus? One of the favorite episodes I had was energy management systems. Don't sell solar, just sell a subscription to energy management system and then figure out where to go from there. If you look at the numbers, the biggest growing segment right now, according to a few sources, which I've quoted before, is community solar. Why? It's simple. It's not clunky. Like you have to do one project and make sure the transformer works. You have to be super meticulous about how you design it. You have to get 100 permits. Okay, I'm exaggerating. It's really about talking to folks about, do you know that we're building a solar farm down the street? Right, Davis? Right, Bradley? Right? Would you like to invest in that solar farm? And by the way, investing means you're going to save right away. The advantage, in my personal opinion, being in the industry, is that they've already figured out, the person that owns the solar farm, the entity, how to make sure the grid is already supported to take care of the people who are connected to that farm. So instead of being a residential customer waiting 9 months or 12 months to get something installed, or a commercial customer waiting 12 or 18 or 24 months to get something installed, you go, boom, let me go talk to a partner. And Bradley's going to talk about how that process works. And boom, this is my son would say, boom, shakalaka. In a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two, not years, you're in. Boy, that was easy. Kind of like changing your cell phone plan, right? But yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Bradley, before we jump into like your illustrious resume, tell us something that's not on your resume. Just be human with us. Tell us like something silly or crazy or something that makes you human, and then tell us your resume.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to today's podcast. The small group that we had on before we went live, you guys were curious about my ethnicity. So Puerto Rican and Haitian. My last name is Haitian. There is an accent over the E. If you couldn't figure that out, it's pronounced Braché. It's butchered all the time, Braché, but Braché. But I'm 47 years young. I turned 48 at the end of June. 3 kids, 2 grandkids. I know I don't look like it, but I'm blessed.
The genes, Bradley.
Yeah, good genes. Yes.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about your professional background.
So I've been doing community solar now going on 3+ years. Before that, I've been a licensed energy broker in the deregulated energy market, otherwise known as energy choice, specifically for commercial accounts, but I do residential accounts. So I still manage a book of business for commercial businesses and organizations. Prior to that, I was a loan officer. I did mortgages for about 6 years and was very successful at that before the Lehman Brothers escapades happened, and I had to find a new gig. And
Yep.
Energy was very, very similar. And the great thing about energy, as we all know, it's a commodity that everybody needs. So, being in this, getting in energy when I did, it's just been a natural transformation getting into community solar and taking the same kind of broker model that we did with DREG is what we've kind of developed with my
Talk to us
partners.
about the difference between regulated and deregulated grids and
Sure.
energy supplies.
So I'm in Maryland, so we're just going to look here in Maryland in this mid-Atlantic area.
But you service the nation, so let's
Correct.
talk
Correct.
about definitions.
So you have the grid, and if you don't know, some high-level education here in the Mid-Atlantic, and believe it or not, all the way out to Illinois, it's called PJM, the Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland grid. So you have up to New York, Jersey, Mid-Atlantic, down to Maryland, down to DC. We're all in the same grid. So every state has different utilities in those states. Each utility is regulated by, like here in Maryland, it's called the Public Service Commission. So that entity regulates the different rates for the commodities, whether it's electric or gas. So essentially, think of the utility as having a monopoly over electric and gas. And with deregulation, is just what it sounds. They deregulated the market. The best analogy is, think of the cell phone industry. Everybody has a cell phone.
Everybody uses the same towers.
Yep, same towers, same poles, wires, all that stuff. But you can choose a carrier, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Boost. It's all about what's in it for the customer. How much do you want to pay? What services do you want? And it's very similar to deregulated energy. You can choose a fixed rate, a variable rate, a 12-month term, a 24-month term. So as a broker consultant, you're going to help find the needs that fit that customer.
Yeah. So most people don't know they have a choice.
Right.
Right. Most people are like, I'm renting. I have a business. I own. It's just, I got to sign up for Pepco or BG&E.
Right.
Then you get to the next level of discussions like, well, I do have a choice. I'm a business, or if I'm a renter, or if I own land, which we're going to talk about in a bit, it's really just a pure education process. Right?
Yep.
So it is totally like picking a cell phone plan. Listen,
yep.
You want T-Mobile, AT&T, who do you want? Verizon? Oh, what are the plans like? That's it. That's exactly what Bradley's going to teach us today, right?
Yep, similar. So taking that same kind of consultative approach with community solar and brokering it out, as you guys seen on our platform, we make it easy for you, a consultant, to help the customer choose the best option for us. As an organization, we do the vetting. We know which developers, first of all, which ones pay on time, because that's important. Everyone wants to get paid for their hard work. So which developers pay, which ones have the easy enrollment process,
right?
Which ones have a good discount for the customers, because it could vary from developer to developer, farm to farm.
So let's break that down again. And let's start with the definition of community solar, and then let's click down a couple notches to how people can help other people, serve other people, and make a really good living from this.
Sure.
So if you're looking at the graphic, let's go ahead and talk about the definition, right?
Sure. So the standard definition of community solar is a solar farm that is in a specific utility footprint. So again, using Maryland as an example, if the farm is in the BGE footprint, but let's just say it's on the east side of BGE, you can still enroll on that farm in the east side, even though you live on the south side. So it just has to be a farm within that specific utility. Okay. There are some variants, like in Jersey and in Minnesota, where it can be county adjacent, but as long as that county is touching the county with the farm, the point is that that farm has to be within a specific utility. So the customer is subscribing to the farm. They're not actually running like an extension cord from the farm to their home. They're just subscribing to the farm, and by subscribing to the farm, their their spot on the farm, what we call their allocated usage, is then going to produce solar energy or community solar credits on their utility bill, which is going to help reduce their monthly bill. That's what we call it.
Who's funding these farms? What's the economic
Sure.
model behind this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, why would a company say we need to put a farm up? We need somebody like you guys to manage that farm, right?
Yep.
And then how do we get that subscription level to where we sell out the farm?
Yep. Good
Talk to us
question.
about that whole supply chain
Yep.
and chain there.
So you have a couple different responsibilities. So you have the developer that actually builds the farm, right? They're the ones that find the land, do the installation, and all that stuff. Some developers have what they call a subscription or in-house sales team. Otherwise, the second responsibility would be for a company that does what we call subscription management or subscription organizer. So with the couple of the companies that we talk about, Nautilus does both. They do development and subscription management.
Right.
Whereas Neighborhood Sun, it's more subscription management. They have the platform. They have the internal people to help maintain and manage all the sales and the DQs and stuff like that. Whereas Nautilus does it soup to nut from beginning to end and handles the whole thing. Now, sometimes they could outsource it, but that kind of gives you the two pieces of the puzzle.
So at the
Mhm.
highest level, folks, the utilities are mandated by the state and before that by the federal government to make sure that they have the right mix of renewable energy, right? They have
Right.
to figure out how to distribute that energy. In some states, California, where my kids and grandkids are, it's already part of your bill. Like you have to call the utility and say, I don't want to play in community solar, right? In other states, which is the vast majority, people don't know you can get a 10 or 20% discount in just a few minutes. People don't know that if you're in low to moderate income, you could qualify for that. People don't know that if you have real estate and you want to sell 20 or lease 20 or 30 acres of land, you could have yourself a solar farm in your backyard. Move the
Yep.
goats over to the left. I want to pause there, Bradley, because I know
Mhm.
you've lived in this world. I just want to make sure that the
Yeah.
audience gets that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
James, you want to add anything to that, sir? I know that you're deep into this. Davis, you've done this before. We'd love to pull you in here for a second. Give Bradley a sip of water, and we can pivot.
Yeah, Emmett, I'd like to just add, I'm so glad that we met up with Bradley. First of all, it's been an excellent source of information. I just love it with commercial because, hey, if they already have panels, guess what? In a year, you want to save another 10 to 15%. Or they may just say, hey, I don't want panels on my building. I don't want to pay for that.
Yep.
Hey, if you still like to get 10 to 15%, most of them aren't going to say no to that. So the potential is just enormous with this. I feel.
No, nailed it. It's such a simple decision. It could take me, and I'm okay. It sells 6 to 9 to 12 months to sell a commercial project because it has to go through all these approvals. But it could take me less than an hour to sell a commercial community solar project because it really is. Why are you on this cell phone plan? You should be on this plan. And the contracts and the agreements are so simple that you can even start there, like an energy management system we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and go, now I'm ready to graduate, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I'm ready to buy that solar system. Right? Davis, you want to add in? I know, Davis, you have extensive background. Sorry to put you on the spot here. I know you're just chilling out in Guatemala, but any other thoughts?
Everything sounds great. I mean, you guys hit all the main points. For those people that want to get solar power, if they are not able to get panels on their roof, or if they're renting apartments, disqualified for any reason. And then, yeah, on top of that, the commercial, it makes a lot of sense. And like you say all the time, Emmett, our grid was not made for renewable energy. So,
it's good.
it's important.
Yeah, I've worked on a lot of commercial projects. Thank you, Davis, where we had to actually pay a lot of money to convert a transformer or convert the grid around that particular commercial project because it wasn't built for that. So think about Amazon dropping a data center in. Do you think that grid is ready for them?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
Think about a new company, inventing something cool, and they have 50 employees in a building that they just bought or rented. You think that grid's ready for it? No.
Nope.
Right? Thank you. I appreciate you weighing in. David, just another one to put you on the spot because we're in the zone the last 24 hours, you and me. Is there a particular community solar project, whether it's commercial or residential, that is kind of close to you? Can you share an example of what you were able to accomplish?
Well, I'm just getting started with commercial community solar. I think that's pretty exciting because it's more of a no-brainer. Just like you said, when you're comparing those plans, those rate plans, like
Mhm.
I like the way you said you're on this cell phone plan. Why don't you switch to this one? It's better, it's cheaper.
Mhm.
So I guess just personally, some of the nicest projects that feel good, at least, that make the
Mhm.
customer feel good, make us feel good, are really when those clients, they really want to go solar and then they can't. Like I have a client right now,
Yep.
she wanted to go solar. We spent 4 months, getting multiple different quotes and figure
Mhm.
out the roofing adders. I mean, the house is 100 years old. We would have had to spend about $6,000 to
Mhm.
redo the roof and make it strong enough to hold with our 30-year warranty, right? And he was, kind of upset. I said, hey, well, look, you qualify for 10 to 20%
Right.
potentially on switching to still get solar power, but from a local solar farm. And she
Yeah,
was
so you can
ecstatic.
either lead with it, like we were talking about now, and we're going to get back
Mhm.
to Bradley in 30 seconds, or you can fall back to it. If
Right.
it's too complicated, they don't qualify, that's a no-brainer to me,
Hmm.
right? But leading with
Yeah.
it is what Bradley's going to talk more about. Bradley, do you have a project you want to talk about you're especially proud of? And then we can go through the next couple of questions. And if you have questions you want to ask Bradley, drop them in the chat. And
I have a question.
All right,
No, okay, Van, go for it.
Go ahead, man.
You said real estate, so we trigger our spidey sense.
Hmm.
So 10 acres of land, we have control of it. Who do we contact about this solar farm or just the deal?
What's the
How's
minimum? Is it 10 or 30, Brad?
10?
It's yeah. What I'm gonna ask you to do is to go to our portal, and there's the button that says Solar Land Lease.
Yep.
Start there. It has all the questions, and if you think that you fulfill all those questions, then you input information, and that information is sent to us to run it up the flagpole to our developer team to find the right developer to take the next step and work with you or a potential prospect on that project.
Okay, WhatsApp you all the way.
Good.
Okay.
Bradley's going to post his information, the enrollment links. By the way, it's free
Yeah.
to sign up as a partner in his program. Free.
Yes.
So if y'all spend like 45 minutes with us today and you go, well, I don't know, you can get with him. He's posting his information on chat now. Or if you're ready to go, just sign up, jump in, pick a sponsor. I personally think I'm the best sponsor, but that's okay.
Team one.
Team one, build your team. Which hate to leave you in the
Choking on
back
my
with
food
Tristan
here.
there. Look at that. Look at that.
He's
He's
about to
going
do a
to be
walk.
the
He's
best
got a
community
walk
solar
coming up.
seller
Work out
ever,
of the day.
man. Yes, yes,
Until you
yes.
try harder.
So Bradley, let's go back to you. Talk about a program or a project that you're especially proud of. And then after that, we'll go through the next couple of questions. Again, put your comments in the chat if you have any specific questions for me.
Well, I'm a straight shooter, and I like to be transparent. I'd be remiss if I didn't say I'm very excited about this partnership right here, because this is something outside of what I normally do. Again, to give some more background, coming from D-Reg as a broker consultant, Otis, who you've some of you might have met on the call, good friend, partner. I came from the commercial dereg. Otis did residential mass markets door to door. So then we said, let's put them under one roof. So I'm the VP of broker services for his company, WMS, but I also help out with door to door and stuff. So it was a perfect marriage of the two type of business models. So coming from door to door, we recruit what we call IBO, independent business owners, subcontractors essentially that do door to door and might have some broker capabilities, but we haven't had an opportunity like this working with a large sales organization like yourself. So I'd like to say that I'm very proud of how far we've gotten with this opportunity.
That's awesome. So let's peel that away a little bit. And Rod, if you're on live, maybe I'm going to call on you or Miss Lisa Bailey Harper. So if I'm signing somebody up to learn about residential solar, why wouldn't I sign them up for community solar? And why wouldn't I sign them up for commercial community solar? Like, I mean, it takes 30 more seconds on each of those steps, and one of them's free, right? Why wouldn't I? I'm curious, going back to the VIP group, Rod or Lisa or anybody else wants to weigh in, we'd love your thoughts. Don't be shy. I can see you.
Hey, I'm sorry I'm multitasking today, but yeah, absolutely makes.
I thought you were in your boat. Sorry, man.
Yeah. No, it makes complete sense. Makes so much sense. And Bradley, I know you owe you a call, sir, instead of something. But yeah,
I know you're busy, Rod.
No, I appreciate this great information today.
Good. Al, you want to weigh in a little bit, and we'll take a mini timeout with your thoughts, and then we're going to resume, Bradley, with the rest of the questions we have for the group. Allie?
Awesome. Yeah.
And Arthur has a question too, but we'll take your comments first.
Yeah, I'm happy to field any questions that might have come up. I mean, it's just a no-brainer, right? And it means that no deal is lost. Like I said at the beginning of this call, it's really about making sure no deal is lost and everybody has that opportunity, whether they're renting, whether they're in an apartment, whether there's just too much shade over their house, they don't want to cut down the trees. There's always an opportunity to switch to renewables. And the grid was not built for renewables, so we have to go out and do it. We have to find these other channels that we can work with to provide clean energy to homeowners, to business owners, to everybody in between. So I love it. I love what you're doing. And I love that, this has really taken off together. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So basically, again, 100% close rate and build it as quickly and share in profit as quickly as you can. Right. So that's it, right? That's pretty simple. I'm not that smart. I might be slow, but I'm not dumb. That's what the thought process and mindset is, right?
I mean, I just wanted to let everyone know I just dropped something in the chat. It's a link that basically, if you save that link, because it's telling you essentially which states have community solar, which states are coming. So you get a feel for it. You know, 30 plus states right now have active legislation and are live, and then there are several that are coming. So now's the time to plant a flag, get familiar with it, because wherever community solar is going, we will be there.
Again, having been in the industry for 20 years, it is the #1 growing segment in solar. Not commercial, not resi. Short of industrial, it's #2. Right. So look at this article that he's put in there. Talk to us about what it takes to get in. I mean, I told you guys it was free, and guys and gals, it's free. I mean, what do you do? Look at these states. Jeez Louise.
It's very easy.
Bradley, with your company, you put out maybe a weekly update, like, folks, we have this much left in this state, or this much left in that state. Look at these states.
Yeah, we're trying to find a way to have a more real-time capacity report, but unfortunately, we're not the only kind of broker consultant out there. So capacity changes on a daily basis. So we try to get something maybe the first of the month. That way we know, hey guys, we have.
Well, I mean, that's spots. A lot of states right there. Look at this, guys and gals. Florida, Minnesota. I don't know anybody in Minnesota. Sorry. New York, Massachusetts. Georgia, everybody wants us to go in Georgia. I'm talking to Lindsay
but
Bailey
just
Harper right
because they
now.
have community solar,
Alabama, yeah,
just because it has community solar doesn't mean that it's a subscription program
right,
like what we do. It could be
right,
utility scale. But the
right.
point is that eventually, we skipped over Hawaii, but I know Hawaii has it. But eventually,
Right.
I think all these states are going to have some type of subscription program, even if it's a small program. Because again, one of the advantages of working with us is we could get a exclusive agreement for a specific project. Like
Right.
Nautilus can say to us, "Hey, we have a 1 megawatt project in BGE. Can you guys help us fill it?" And then they'll give it just to us. They won't give it to anybody else. So
Yeah, a lot
from
of
time to
love to
time.
Mid-Atlantic. I'm looking at
Hmm.
the funds right now, just in Pepco and BG&E.
Hmm.
If you're anywhere close to those utilities, and I know a few you are, go for it. Double down. Don't miss it. Somebody's going to sell those solar panel farms. Good, good, good. All right. So let's have a little bit of fun, twist it around, look at the comments and questions. Arthur, you have some questions? You want to just turn on your mic and make sure you get them answered?
Yeah, first of all, Bradley, thank you very much for responding to questions so quickly. I mean,
No problem.
in some there, and you've been very, very fast. And I think your article here will answer what I said. Basically, what is the solar credit that is allocated to every new customer? Is it based on the initial estimate, or does it fluctuate based on actual usage? Because usage can be very different. Summer
Great,
versus
great question, Arthur. So let's talk about how the math works. What's the process? So folks here are going to sign up, they're going to get trained, but if they have a customer, how do we determine what their savings potentially could be? And how does that look like from a customer experience?
Right. So what I call product knowledge. So this is for us. We're not necessarily going to share this with the customer, but and this is how we vet which developers we want to work with. So when a developer builds a farm and they generate their agreement, in that agreement, it's going to say X amount percentage is of the customer's usage is going to be allocated to the farm. So for example, Nautilus and Neighborhood Sun do 90%. So if a customer uses 10,000 kilowatt hours annually, they're actually only going to allocate 9,000 kilowatt hours to the farm. All right, because the customer's usage is going to fluctuate. There are some developers that do 100%. The other side, I've seen some developers only go up to 75%. So it's all about finding that right mix. What's the discount to the customer? What's the allocation? What's the compensation? And that's why we
Did
choose.
you just say what's the compensation? Because
What's the
that's the
compensation,
last
right?
topic we're going to talk about.
Yep.
Mr. Rod Obie's like, can you just get to the point here?
I was about to send. I'm about
There's
to
a
share.
balance.
I'm
He's
sending
on
him
his
the
boat.
deck.
He's running out of gas. He wants the answer to that question. So it is a balance, right, Arthur and
Right.
team? Really
Mhm.
great question. We have to frame the balance between what's produced, what's saved, who makes what money, who saves what money. At the end of the day, it's basically 100% subsidized. So then how much is the cut to the rep or the developer, right?
Right.
So before I go to the comp piece, and I know Rod's going to hang up as soon as we answer this question, but that's okay. I love Rod. I salute him. Arthur, did we answer your question in terms of the savings? Yeah, and you're going to see, and I know this is what I love about Bradley. That, number one, yes, he's extremely responsive. I don't know why he's up at 2:30 in the morning answering my question. First of all, I don't know why I'm up. I'm up at 2:30 in the morning asking my question, but he's quick and responsive. The other thing he's going to show you, I've seen it weekly now, right, with your group. Here are where the funds are. So if you have friends, all of a sudden he's like, I need 1,000 panels in Tennessee, and I happen to have friends in Tennessee. Yes, Van, I do have friends. Okay, then I'm going to go after my friends in Tennessee. I'm going to talk about a business in Nashville, right? Arthur, great contribution. You want to add anything when we talk about comp, Arthur?
I just wanted to say, it's very important to not set up the customer for unrealistic expectations of savings, because if their bill goes up, then they're going to say, hey, why am I not getting the 10 or 5% you told me I would. So we
Yeah.
got to set them up and say it's an allocation based on our best guesstimate, and it's still better than nothing.
Yeah, and at part of the process, depending on the state, there is a QA/QC. So some calls when we go through the process are going to be recorded. Some are going to be instant, signups on the internet or contracts. So I don't want you to think it's a really hard thing to do from your perspective. Your goal, our goal, is just to bring the job to a group like Bradley's team. Let them do what they do. And then we'll split that commission. So Bradley, you want to talk a little bit about how the revenue share works?
Sure. Pull it up because we actually sent out a new update today. So just bear with me a second.
Yeah, you can do screen share. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So originally we started with the bronze, silver, gold levels, but a lot of people are asking about what I call leveling up. Like, how do I become a captain? So now we added the fourth tier, which is platinum, and this again, if you're already onboarded, I just sent out this updated deck maybe an hour or so ago, so everyone should have this in their inbox. So at every level, you have certain benchmarks, and the goal again is to get to the platinum level, and then by getting to platinum, you can now essentially build your own sales team, and it kind of starts all over again. But just understand, as you keep building down, the original compensation is going to get diluted. But if it's getting diluted, that means you're building and growing, and that means that sales are coming in, so you're going to make up for it in volume. So you might lose a little percentage here, but you're going to have more sales because that means you're building and growing. Okay. Where was it at? Took out the
So this is if you're
took out the
building,
dollar.
right?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was
That's
trying to
the
find
table
this.
we want to
Right.
look at. So
Mhm.
let's pretend we're going to do a math formulation that even God bless you, everybody that served Memorial Day weekend and folks that weren't able to make it to this Memorial Day weekend. What's the numbers look like, right? I mean, if you're talking about per kilowatt hour, what's the commission and the revenue share? That's what I think everybody wants to know.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Yep.
So here we go. Can everybody see that? Should I blow it up a little bit?
Yeah. Let's just talk about direct. This is where you actually take it all the way to the bridge, right? This
Right.
is where you don't need Bradley and his team to actually sell it. You sell it, right? So
Right.
let's talk about what we have in terms of commissions.
Right. So total commission is what we say 250 in RC. So that means $250 for every 10,000, or you take a 0.025, multiply that by the customer's usage, and that's going to give you what the commission is. So here, what we define, the agent is the person that's actually making the sale. So it's really simple. It's an 80-20 split. Agent gets 80%, the captain that brought him on, one of the 8 captains that we have keeps 20%. And then as you drill down, you're gonna chop that up a little bit. So again, the original captain gets 20, the agent that actually did the sale keeps 70, the person that that is considered the affiliate for this agent keeps 10%. And it's all here, gives different scenarios.
Remember, this is by kilowatt hour.
Correct.
Over the year.
Correct.
It's
Annual.
not by kilowatt.
Right.
Kilowatt hour is what they use.
Right.
So
Kilowatt.
basically, think about this. If they're paying their utility right now $1,000 per month, maybe they're my favorite Filipino American restaurant, right? They're going to save probably $100 or $200 a month, and you're going to get a piece of that. So not only is the customer saving, but you are as well. And before we end here, we're going to wrap up with you in about 5 minutes, Bradley.
Okay.
Allie's going to talk about the surge compensation plan as well. So if you haven't signed up, we'd like her to close out with that. So everybody absorb this. What else do you want to add, right? So this is if you're just selling. if you need Bradley's help, it's about half, right, Bradley?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's his call center, that's his team. Yep.
Yep.
And then if you're building, you get your override. It's not
Right.
MLM at all, because
Right.
it's just a straight override. It's a rev share, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sally, let's queue up the Surge Comp plan in case there are folks who don't understand that and maybe have questions if they haven't signed up. Bradley,
Awesome.
thank you. Bradley, before
Mhm.
we pivot, I gotta ask you a couple fun questions because I think people are liking you and respecting you now. But what's your favorite movie of all time?
I saw that. It's a toss up. I'm a big Tarantino, Martin Scorsese guy, so Pulp Fiction probably number one.
Favorite quote?
Even today, I dare not say that I reached a state of achievement. I'm still learning, for learning is boundless. Bruce Lee.
You just pulled a Bruce Lee on me.
Yes, I did.
By the way, Arthur Neal, Virginia's legislation allows us to do more of this on July 1st, but we already have some opportunities in Virginia. So just get with Bradley. Any final thoughts before we hand it over to Allie?
I started to cut and paste something in here for Albert that everyone can share. It's about explaining credits and stuff. But if
good.
you know, I'm sharing. I know I'm sharing a lot. I know it's a lot to digest. Emmett, I think you and I are on the same page. Use that video to share with prospects. Let that do kind of the heavy lifting for you. And then if the customer has any credit or any questions after that, then you know, answer those questions accordingly. But use that video. That's what it's there for. If you don't feel comfortable explaining it yourself, use the video and then answer any follow-up questions that they might have.
That's our gift to the team, right, Bradley? It's like,
yep,
just copy and paste the video, copy and paste your enrollment link, and let the numbers work for you. You decide how many businesses you want to talk to, right? You're going to leverage the Surge platform to watch everything go through, right? You might actually have a couple of different offers. It's really that simple. So for the folks that are already on board, thank you for your loyalty in helping us grow. For the people who are listening for the first time or new, thank you for your time. Bradley's information's here. It'll be posted in the weekly newsletter by Allie. Cool, Bradley.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Hang around. We're going to stop recording here in a minute, but
okay, I got some more time.
Put it back to our CEO and founder, Allie, for final thoughts and then office hours.
Okay.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks.
Love this conversation. Really great stuff here today, and I'm sure everyone is loving it. So I'm super excited about everything we have going on. I'm happy to take us through the rev share plan if you think that would be a good thing to do right now.
Let's go ahead and do that for 5 minutes, and then maybe save 10 minutes for open office hours. Let's do that.
Awesome. Can you see my screen?
We're good.
Awesome. Great. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the Surge revenue plan, I know we're going over kind of financials today, so I think it's a good time to bring this up. And for those of you who are already on Surge, you've probably seen this before. If you're not yet on Surge, may as well, you know, take notes, take a look at this, and I can send it to you after the fact. I'll put it in the chat. Pretty straightforward. It is what I like to call a 70-70 split, which doesn't make any sense, but I'll go ahead and explain it. So we look at the total deal on Surge, the total system cost, and we take the EPC's gross margin, okay? We look at the full amount of their gross margin and split that 70% to 30%. They're going to keep 70% of that. That covers their expenses, their overhead, everything like that. And we invoice for 30% from the EPC, okay? That 30% then becomes our 100% gross margin because that's the only money we ever see on the deal, right? We're invoicing for that 30, and then that's what we divide up amongst the various people involved in the deal. So 70% of that goes to the originator, right? The person who put the lead into the platform, which, you know, I'll show you an example in a second, but that becomes quite a hefty commission in most cases, even on a pretty average sized project. 20% goes to Surge, the platform team, stakeholders, and 10% goes into a rev share reserve for our sponsors, which I will also show you in a second, but that's a really great way to earn passive income on much larger scale deals through Surge. So what this looks like in reality is, you know, here's some real numbers for you. Pretty average size project, $2 million commercial project. Like I said, the EPC gross margin, so it's going to fluctuate. Sometimes it's, you know, a little higher, a little lower, but in general, we're looking for about 15%. You can see this is a little less than 15%, you know, what we've got here. We wanted to go conservative just for the sake of the example. So we split that 70-30. The EPC is going to keep 70% of that, 168K. We're going to invoice for the other 30%, so that's 72K. And then that we're going to take 70% of and give to the originator. So if you put the deal into the platform, you're going to earn that 50K right here. Okay. And then 20 and 10, like I said, for the platform as well as for our rev share reserve. Any questions about this? Anything standing out? The nice thing about this, you know, as Emmett always likes to point out, you don't need as many deals to earn a lot more money, right? That's kind of the benefit of these commercial projects is they are larger. And of course, the sales cycle is typically a little bit longer. We're vetting all of our EPCs on the platform for their lead times, turnaround times, and all of that. But you get 1 or 2 deals a year and you're adding basically, you know, potentially 6 figures to your income. So pretty
Yeah,
significant.
it's a domino effect. So if you want to work on churches, you sell one church, you have a case study, you sell a lot of churches. You sell one golf course, I sold Pebble Beach. I don't even golf. I sold a bunch of golf courses. A rec center, you decide, where's your passion? Who do you want to help? Right? Just do one. Make some money, learn the playbook, use the platform, and then copy over and over and over again. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you gain that trust and that reputation through those case studies. So, you know, pick something you love. It's an opportunity to pick something that you really love and serve that.
I heard James Patterson is going to do all the CrossFits in the U.S., so somebody better not stop him.
For sure. All right, so let's talk about that rev share reserve because a lot of people ask about this. So that sponsor reserve is really because we know Surge is going to grow based upon word of mouth, networking, community building, referrals, and really just building a team, right? We don't want to go out there and run ads. We don't want to cold email people and tell them to join Surge. We want events like this and community members like yourselves to be helping us grow the platform. And we want to reward the people who do that. So the way it works is on every single deal, 10% is set aside into a rev share reserve, which is then split 50-50 between the two parties on the deal. Because in every deal that goes through Surge, there's going to be an originator, so somebody who put the deal into the platform, and there's going to be an installer, an EPC that actually carried the deal through, right? So whoever brought that originator onto the platform, that's their sponsor. And whoever brought the EPC onto the platform, that's the other sponsor. So those two people that invited our originator and our EPC to the platform, they're going to earn half of that rev share reserve when that deal goes through. So for instance, you know, let's say Emmett invited James to the platform, which he actually did do. James closes a deal with his CrossFit gym. Emmett's going to earn a cut of that rev share reserve, right? He's going to earn half of it. And let's say James worked with Greg, you know, a good partner of ours. He's not here today, but he's one of the earliest EPCs on the platform, Greg at Luminous Solar. Whoever invited Greg to the platform, he's going to get the other 50%. So that's an easy way to earn passive commission just by inviting people to the platform and helping us grow this movement through word of mouth.
Awesome. I think we should stop the recording at this point and again wish everybody that served, that are legacy family supporters, everybody that's in the reserve, all of the people that help make this country free and safe. And as a first generation immigrant, I'm so proud and blessed. So let's wish them all the best for this Memorial Day holiday. And then let's stop the recording, Ellie, and we'll take office hours.